Good morning, anti-sheeple pleaser family. This is M, the anti-sheeple pleaser. I am back in the building trying to wake up the sheeple once again. So, as I have done stories before, you remember the story that I did on the young man that had died in Georgia. They called it the gym mat death, where he was found rolled up in the gym mat. Allegedly, his organs were missing and his body was stuffed with newspaper. That was just one case. There was another case, and these are just cases that I know about off the top of my head. I'm sure there are plenty others. There was a model from Georgia, again, from Georgia, who traveled to LA. I believe it was for business, for some type of modeling gig or whatever have you. And he ended up being found in a desert out in Las Vegas, Nevada, murdered with his organs missing also. So this is one of the latest cases. And shout out to the Free Thought Project. That's where this particular article comes from. The title states, family begs for answers after veteran dies in police custody. Claim his organs are missing. Okay. This was out of York County, Pennsylvania. Everett Palmer Jr. was a United States Army veteran and a father of two before he died mysteriously in police custody earlier this year. Now the local coroner is claiming that the cause of death is still undetermined, and Palmer's family is demanding to know what happened and why several of his organs were taken without notice. The family was not notified that the 41-year-old dad was in critical condition, and it was not until they were being informed of his death that they found out he had spent the last 2 days of his life in jail, according to a report from the New York Dispatch. Palmer was initially charged with driving under the influence, careless driving, and failing to stay in his own lane after he was responsible for a single car crash in October 2016. Even though he was the only one who was harmed, he was left with a long list of fines and fees. And when he failed to appear in court, a warrant was issued for his arrest. Palmer turned himself into the police on April 7th, and just 2 days later, he was pronounced dead. The details of what happened over the course of those 2 days are still disturbingly scarce. Staff at the York County Prison claimed that they found Palmer hitting his herd against his cell door. I'm sure they meant to say head, but I promise you guys it says herd here. Hitting his head against his cell door at 4:20 a.m. on April 9th. The prison guards took Palmer in the in-house medical clinic where he was physically restrained for the next hour, and he apparently became unresponsive. He was then moved to the New York hospital where he was pronounced dead at 5:46 a.m. Now, the question remains as to what happened to Palmer between the time he was removed from his cell and the time he took his last breath. While York County Coroner Pam Gay did not show how Palmer was restrained, she did say sometimes they have to use physical restraint to render assistance to people, especially if they are self-harming. However, Gay also said that the cause of death in police custody is still undetermined. Therefore, Palmer did not die because he was reportedly hitting his head on the door of his cell or because he did anything to harm himself. That does not mean the manner can't be changed if more evidence is found, Gay said. We definitely have some clear causes for his death. We just don't know how some of them happened. Interesting. Very interesting. The coroner claimed Palmer's death was a result of complications following excited state associated with methamphetamine toxicity during physical restraint, Gay said. A high level of methamphetamine was detected in Palmer's system. The claim is notable because Palmer voluntarily turned himself in 2 days before and he was fined. So if he did have a high level of meth in his system, how did he gain access to it and when? Surveillance footage of the final hours before Palmer's death has yet to be released, and Palmer's family claims that they have yet to be informed of the manner in which Palmer was physically restrained before his death. The family has attempted to hire a forensic pathologist in order to conduct an additional investigation, but they claim that Palmer's organs were needed and they have mysteriously disappeared. According to a report from the York Daily Record, The family questioned how some of Everett's organs, including his brain and heart, were removed without notification and were not yet returned. Wait a minute, they took his brain and his heart? I thought they were going to say something like, his lungs, his kidneys, something that someone wouldn't notice, but his brain and his heart. Okay, and they have yet to be returned, they are saying. So this is not a misplacement. This is not, we took it out and forgot to put it back in. Like, they're removed and they have not been returned as of yet. And how did the man get methamphetamines in his system after he had been locked up? Like, how did that happen? It had to have happened in jail. It sounds like to me, and I'm just telling you what it sounds like. It sounds like they had drugged him and then they ended up cutting out his organs and, just passed it along like that. That's what it looks like to me. I think this gentleman was killed inside of the jail, but that's just my opinion. This is all alleged. Of course, we can't prove it because they are not going to tell on themselves. But yes, that's definitely my assumption about this particular situation. A number of questions remain surrounding the tragic death of Everett Palmer Jr. And the fact that even as months have passed, law enforcement in New York County have failed to release pertinent information raises a new list of inquiries as to what caused Palmer's death, who was involved, and why the county has gone out of its way to protect the employees who could be responsible. Marlon Curtin, an attorney for the family, told the York Dispatch that Palmer's family is seeking justice and demands to know what caused his death and how staff members at the York County Prison played a role. Quote, "We still don't know why he died. The family will press on to have an autopsy performed," Curtin said. "We will press on with our civil remedies. There is nothing today that changes our view that an unarmed veteran and father of two died at the hands of law enforcement." So this is their opinion also. Not only did he die at the hands of law enforcement, his organs were taken also. So those of you that believe this organ harvesting to be some type of thought in conspiracy theorists' head, let's just be real here. This stuff does happen. It is happening more and more often. And it also makes you wonder what happened to all these missing children that can't be found. Okay, because most rich people, they live for a very long time, not because they're healthy, but just like the guy that had recently died, I believe he was a Rothschild or a Rockefeller. He was really old. I think he had like 3 to 4 hearts in his lifetime. So that's why it puzzles me when people say that their celebrity sister, cousin, uncle, father died and you have money. And we all know that organs are sold on the black market. We all know this. We know this. So, if your family member dies and you're a celebrity that's got that paper, I'm going to automatically assume that they were a sacrifice because you got the money to get the organs. Anyway, I'm out. If you have any requests or whatever have you, you can send them to my email address, antisheeplepleaser@gmail.com. That is all lowercase. If you have not subscribed to the page, you are seriously missing out. Please make sure you hit the notification bell, which is right next to the subscription button, because YouTube has hit me with the algorithm of death, which means out of the over 30,000 subscribers that I have, my videos are only exposed to maybe about 5% of you guys, which is why my views are so low. People don't know that I'm still making content. So yeah, definitely hit your notification bell. And if you don't do that, just come back every week. Every week I put out a new show. It's usually on the weekend between Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So definitely come back on the page and just check Sunday, just in case YouTube forgets to let you know that I put out a video. How about we do that? Also, feel free to comment in the comment section respectfully. Give the video a thumbs up if you don't mind, a thumbs down if you don't like it. I'll survive either way. Follow me on Facebook or Twitter if you have not already. And if you would like to make a financial donation to the page, that would be greatly appreciated. Peace, love, and blessings. Those links will be in the description box as well. I am out.